President Trump has warned Iran that time is running out to make a deal on nuclear weapons. Take a look at this post to Truth Social yesterday. The president wrote that the USS Abraham Lincoln strike group that we've been telling you about, headed toward the country, was ready to fulfill its mission with, quote, speed and violence if necessary. CBS News senior foreign correspondent Holly Williams joins us from our London newsroom with more on this. Holly, you've reported from the region extensively. What more can you tell us about the president's latest threat and the reaction from Tehran?
Good morning, Errol. Well, publicly, President Trump hasn't given much detail about the deal he wants with Iran, except that he does not want Iran to have nuclear weapons. But according to some reporting from the New York Times, the US has made three demands. Firstly, a permanent end to all uranium enrichment by Iran and the disposal of current uranium stockpiles. Secondly, limits on the range and number of ballistic missiles that Iran is allowed to possess. And thirdly, an end to Iran's support for militant groups in the Middle East, including Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and the Houthis in Yemen. Now, if that is accurate, it's extremely interesting because there's apparently no reference to Iranian protesters. Earlier this month, President Trump repeatedly threatened to hit Iran hard if it killed protesters. But then, after a violent crackdown that left thousands dead, President Trump said he'd received assurances that no more protesters would be killed. As you'll remember, the US previously carried out strikes against Iran's nuclear program in June of last year, although there was a lot of disagreement about how much damage those strikes actually did. Now, this is what Secretary of State Marco Rubio had to say about the deployment of the USS Abraham Lincoln carrier strike group to the Middle East.
We have to have enough force and power in the region, just on a baseline, to defend against that possibility. That at some point, as a result of something, the Iranian regime decides to strike at our troop presence in the region. The president always reserves the preemptive defensive option. In essence, if we have indications that, in fact, they're going to attack our troops in the region, to defend our personnel in the region.
Some Iran watchers believe the regime is more fragile than it's been at any point since the founding of the Islamic Republic back in 1979. Its economy is flailing, and Iran went through a damaging war with Israel last year. The question really is whether that drives Iran to do a deal with President Trump on terms that could weaken it even further. Errol.
All right, Holly Williams in London. Thank you.